It says we're live. Are we live?
We seem to be live.
We seem to be live.
It appears so.
It appears so.
Where's that darn Starfleet boy, eh?
Where's that Don Starfleet boy? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Trek on the Tube. And welcome back to yet another Trek on the Tube live stream. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm not alone. I know that usually my live streams are solo, but today I'm not. I am joined by not Starfleet boy. No, I'm kidding. He will be here at some point. But we've also got a special guest, Boatrek, my boy PJ. So Braxton says, hey boys, evening greetings. I hope both of you are having a great day. I'm having a good day. You? Are you having a good day?
I'm having a great day because Worf is back in live-action Star Trek. Yeah.
Oh, not quite. All right, let's add him to the
shit.
stream. Look at that. Everyone's here.
Hey guys! Ooh, that was
Hey,
loud. Sorry.
that was loud. What are you
That was
screaming
really
at
loud.
us for?
I got
What are you
excited.
sc- How do I
Hey-
like
hey,
turn
guys.
the? How do I? Oh, is this how? Oh, see.
Oh, I like to be on the bottom, but that's okay. You can put me on top. PJ and I are both on top of you.
It's already after dark material.
Yeah, this is fine. Whatever. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I need to say all these things.
Yes.
You can do the super chats if you want to help out the channel
Oh,
financially.
you get super chats on your channel?
I have super chats on this
What?
channel, so if someone wants to try them out, Gary tried them out once. He was having fun. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for being here. I know that you guys have already gone over like all of the news multiple times at this point, but I want to go over it again on my channel because I haven't talked about it. I
feel like you need that toddy twist.
the toddy twist.
The toddy twist.
To be fair, when
or
all
the toddy take. How about the toddy take?
the
That's
toddy
better.
take.
Yeah.
Just to give everyone context, because I know a lot of people watch these on replays. We're talking about the Star Trek, like all of the Star Trek news that dropped now a couple weeks ago, I think it is at this point, for Star Trek Day, 5th of April. They dropped basically teaser trailers for, what was it? There was a Lower Decks one, there was a Discovery one, and a Picard one. We also got some basically concept art or maybe final art for Prodigy for like the look and feel of Janeway and the rest of the crew. There was no Strange New Worlds or Section 31 news. But yeah, that's basically what's happening. And so I wanted to talk about that. There you go. And I wasn't hype. This is something that the Starfleet boy got mad at me for originally. I wasn't hype when all of this was
I wasn't
happening.
mad. It was more like annoyed. I was just
Annoyed or
Yeah,
surprised?
it wasn't mad because how could I be mad at you for not like being excited about
Okay.
something? I was
Yeah,
just annoyed that you weren't. Yeah.
Well, as a person that is very, very like vocally in love with Lower Decks, and as a person that grew up with Janeway, and that absolutely wanted her return, I don't know why my emotions were not just full of joy with that Starfleet Day, with that Star Trek Day announcement. But I guess I was just kind of over it at that point. Now I'm warming up a bit. Now I'm feeling like, I went back and I watched, not all the panels, but I watched a couple of the tidbits and rewatched these trailers, and I don't know. I'm warming up to it all. But so what are you guys the most excited for?
At this point, oddly enough, Picard Season 2.
Yeah.
Q's coming back. Guinan's back.
Or I should say da 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 da.
Apparently Robert Picardo may be back. LeVar Burton may be back. He hasn't confirmed.
Speculation is high.
Okay, so
Although-
Worf is not back as it stands. Let's just
Not
throw
as
that
far
out
as we
there
know.
because
Yeah.
because
I was very hopeful. In fact, I even was like that article can't be right. I was like, no,
This
it's gonna
is
be
the-
Picard.
This is the news that came out a couple days ago. It has nothing to do with the Star Trek Day announcements, but Michael Dorn tweeted a little something about putting back in the Starfleet uniform or whatever it was, or getting back into Starfleet, and everyone freaked out. The internet had like a crisis, thinking that he was coming back to coming back to Picard or whatever it is, and turns out he's not. He's just, what is it? He's voicing He's Michael Dorn is voicing Worf in a game called Star Trek Legends. Is that it?
Yeah, so I didn't get a
Yes.
chance to catch up, but I heard that
Okay.
game is really good. The Star Trek
Oh,
Legends
it's all
game.
lies.
It's a
I
mobile
bet
game,
you.
right?
I
Like for your
bet you it's
iPhone.
not. Oh well, that
No,
makes it even
Dom
worse.
Paris said it was good. I think if that's the game,
He's lying.
let me go and check. I have to go and check if that's. Now I have to go back to my DMs here for a second. Hold on.
I'm sure. I'm sure that's untrue. I think all Star Trek games are trash. But anyway, that's just me. I haven't
Well,
played
no,
enough.
there was a
I
really
haven't
good.
played enough
There's a really good
of Star
Star
Trek
Trek.
Online actually.
There's a really good Star Trek experience called something 47 or something like that, which was like a fan made thing where you could walk around on the D and like do everything, and it was like open world type of thing, and that inspired a lot of people, and we're like, why can't it be more like this? But I heard Star Trek Online's good.
Okay.
And I
All right.
heard also that I thought it wasn't updated in 11 years, and someone let me know that it has been updated. So my bad on that one.
It looks ugly as it looks terrible. But anyway, yeah, Star Trek Picard. That is the thing that I'm the most hyped for as well, which is astonishing. It's like Lower Decks. It's not that I'm not
Not
hyped for it.
astonishing.
It is. Lower Decks. It's not that I'm not hyped for it. It's just that I feel so horrible. I know it's gonna be good, so I kind of know what I'm expecting. Like I'm not expecting Lower Decks season 2 to surprise me as much as the first season did. Like I already know that they're gonna spend some time with Riker. You know, sometime not. I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of see what's coming. Whereas Picard, there's a whole change up with not necessarily all the writing team, but there's a new showrunner. We're getting the return of characters. We don't yet know how they're gonna use Q. So that's got me the most intrigued, I guess.
Yeah, Terry Matalas is the new showrunner, I believe.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and also Mark Bernardin is also a part of season 2. And if you don't know who he is, he was featured in the DS9 documentary What We Left Behind, and he's also Kevin Smith's partner on. It used to be Fat Man Beyond. Now it's no. It used to be Fat Man on Batman. Now it's Fat Man Beyond, I think. And they have a podcast that's on YouTube every week, in which they review all the Marvel shows, like they did all of WandaVision. And so when you listen to Mark Bernard and his knowledge of like pop culture, I don't know. He never talks about Star Trek a lot, so I can't gauge like how big a fan he is. But there's definitely different people involved in season 2. Michael Chabon is out, of course. And, of course, Akiva Goldsman admitted that they didn't have an ending. They went into the season not knowing where it was going to go. But, yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, so does that...
Rule number 1 in serialized storytelling, by the way. Know your ending. But, anyway.
But does that mean that they didn't have, like, does that mean that they didn't know where they were going at all? Or does that mean that they didn't know if they were going to leave it open for like a season 2, or if they had to close it, like had like a bookend kind of situation?
That is unclear because he just, I think, yeah, you can find the interview on trekmovie.com, or I think it was the Hollywood Reporter that originally interviewed him, where he gets into detail about, he's talking about his experience on Discovery and how he thought it was going to be a show about Pike. And he wanted to be involved based on that. When it wasn't, he was kind of disappointed. And he's always wanted to do a show about Pike, so that's
he's
where
doing it now.
He's doing Strange New Worlds, but I think he's also involved in Picard. But I think creatively, Kurtzman and Akiva Goldsman are moving away from the older, like Picard and Discovery, and they're more like just Akiva's doing his thing, and Kurtzman is just, I think creatively, he's trying to just hover above it all. And just pick the right creative minds, like Mike McMahon, for example.
I wanted to talk about the most, because I know that everyone, like, we've all talked about, like, these shows, I suppose, like, separately, and they're all their own thing. But what I wanted to talk about is Kurtzman and his involvement with all of this, because, you know, so much of the hate or so much of the kind of, like, the criticism comes from the quality of Kurtzman's writing and maybe how hands-on he is with all of these shows. And when it comes from like the actors, the cast and crew, they always talk very highly about Kurtzman and about like Mike McMahon himself loves the fact that he's involved and will give him like little pointers on, oh, this should be animated that way, or maybe this character should say this. It'll give a better ending to your episode, or it'll be more meaningful. But I feel like Kurtzman is kind of stepping away from that. I kind of feel like he's now in the like he's really set up this thing where he's got these individual creative teams that will all take care of their own show, that have their own vibe, and he's able to kind of just like handle the business side of things. And I think for the most part, everyone's happy with that. Like,
I don't think that's what's happening at all. I really think that, from what I've heard, I listen to I can't tell you, I can't cite everything, so if you're going to put me on the spot here, I'll happily go and research for you, but I've heard a lot of interviews with cast members, like on, for example, Michelle Yeoh, just recently on the Pod Directive might have said something, but like the vibe is that you're right in the fact that like he's got these wonderful showrunners to take care of the big stuff, like the heavy lifting, but I think he still has a very like he desires to be also, I believe, because he's a huge fan of Star Trek, not as big as Star Wars, but I think he has an overall vision of, or like at least he plays he plays with them, like he's like, oh yeah, I want to know everything that your ideas, and I want to have.
Do you think he's going to carry on writing shows?
I
know Discovery's kind of his
I see
baby.
what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I would imagine he would want to write, because he works on Picard as well. I on the DVD, on the Blu-ray. Well, I don't know if he wrote on it, but on the Blu-ray, he's like all over it, which I would be too. I mean, if I were Alex Kurtzman, I'd want to be around Sir Patrick Stewart. Everywhere. Yeah, I'd want Sir Patrick Stewart and I to hang out every day. But I do see what you're saying, and he needs to focus on the bigger stuff, because Star Trek's become quite a beast at the moment, and so I get what you're saying, and I think you're right in one respect, but I don't think he's disconnected from the stories or the vision. I think he's very much in charge of that. My impression.
Yeah, I just think he's not. What I wanted to say is, I think he's not going to be like, because he's been writing episodes of Discovery up until now, and he's been writing like finales, that kind of stuff, and so in that sense, he's very much, I suppose, the creator of how these big story arcs end or begin, that kind of stuff, and I feel like he's stepping away from that role. I don't think
that would make sense, dude. Like
I don't think he will stay involved. You know,
I understand now. I thought you meant like he was just going to focus on business stuff. Like I feel like that was the impression of what I thought. His job. Yeah, already. But, and I'm sure there's also people in at CBS that handle a lot of things like licensing and stuff like that he probably doesn't have to deal with and stuff like that. We should invite Alex Kurtzman to tell us what he does. Like a day in the life of Alex Kurtzman.
That would be interesting. We should invite what's his name? John
on Trek Chat. You should have him on. Yeah. You should have them on Trek Chat and ask them what the hell do they do? Because actually, I'm just speculating. I don't know any of this stuff. You know, it's like
you invite Kurtzman on, and you're like, "What do you do?"
Yeah, I want to know. Like, I'm a shareholder.
What is it you do?
I'm a stakeholder in Star Trek, and I need to know.
But you're also a shareholder in Disney, so you know you're balancing there.
I do have like one share in Disney stock. No, maybe more than that. But yeah, I'd like to know.
Do you think anyone is coordinating between shows? Like, okay, I'm going to extrapolate that. Are we asking if there's going to be any kind of like coordination in terms of like story and character?
Cake is Eternal clarified and says
clarified.
I can't speak English tonight.
Oh wait, here we go. Yeah, wait, here we go. It's already been. Do you think anyone is coordinating canon between shows? No. I'm gonna go out and say that is not something that's happening right now.
No, I'm joking. I think there is someone. I just think they need more. I think they need more people. I think they need a lot more people.
They do have people working on that, but just not in the way that you're saying. You're asking if there's like one person or like a group that goes around.
Is there a Pablo Hidalgo, right? Like, is that?
No, I don't.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I think like every show has its own creative team, and every creative team tries their best to adhere to canon, or they do what they think is best, right? You're muted. Stop muting yourself.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Somebody's asking about like that article from Akiva Goldsman.
Oh,
I
if you find
found
it,
it, but
I'll link it
I
in the
tried to
description.
post it. I tried to post it in the chat. It wouldn't take.
Send it to me via
Yeah,
like, and then I can add it to the description of the video.
It's
I
quite
can
a
do
good
th-
extensive
I can
article.
do these things.
CJ, is that a Lost, like the show shirt like you're wearing?
No, it's my cousin's clothing thing.
Oh, cool. It looks cool. I like it.
Yeah.
There's no
do we?
copyright
Okay.
on the word "lost," by the way.
Do we think that Kurtzman is going to, or like all of these creative teams, do you guys think they're gonna want to build towards a big crossover event at some point? I'm not asking if you guys want that.
Definitely, that's the
Okay,
trend
that's-
now. All your connected universe shows have to intersect at some point in an
think they are?
Avengers/Defenders type situation.
Tell you what, the best show that could do that is the Section 31 show that's on Freeze or whatever. But that's a show that could be a mini event. Like I don't know why Star Trek won't take a cue from Disney in the sense, or Marvel, I should say, Marvel Studios, in the sense that I love that WandaVision is just one mini, like it's just one event, like that's it. There's no more TV shows after that. Section 31, I mean, Michelle Yeoh's super busy is what everyone speculates, and she's got movies, and it's true. She's like, she's a huge star. But if you did it as like a 6-episode like crossover event type thing that combined all the Star Treks and more, like it could be a 55th anniversary celebration. It could be awesome, and you could set it up to hand it off to a more available cast, or something like that. So I like that idea of doing a crossover event, and I think Section 31 would be how I would play it.
I am sorry to interrupt you, but I put the link in the description, so normally we should be able to click on it. Hollywood Reporter. Star Trek showrunner discusses Strange New World plan. All right, we'll talk about that after. The thing is, and I'm gonna like just go off on a small tangent and talk about the MCU for a minute. Kevin Feige stated, and this is pretty much around like Infinity War Endgame time, when he was talking about like death and finality to characters, and he was really saying that he wants the universe to kind of evolve, and he knows that people pick up the mantle and characters come back, and it's always rebooted and like remade in the comic books, but he wants his cinematic universe to have like finality, or like certain events are final. So when a character dies, it's the end. You can move on. And I feel like that's going to happen with their shows as well. WandaVision ends, and to some certain extent, Falcon and Winter Soldier will end, because all of the events that will happen in the movies or TV shows after that will affect those characters. You can no longer tell the same story or go back to the Wanda and Vision kind of like story, because you don't have those characters to play with in the same way anymore.
Well, I think Section
and I think
31's
that's-
like that. I don't think it needs to have more than one season. Like, it's never been an interesting topic to me, like, as far as the show is concerned. No, seriously, like, I could care less if there's ever a Section 31 show. I'm not interested in that aspect of Star Trek. I like Michelle Yeoh, so I'm willing to give it a chance.
That's what's selling it.
Yeah, that's what's selling it for me. But, like, I could personally be happy with never seeing Section 31 mentioned in another Star Trek show.
But here's
it's
the
taken
sad
over
truth.
Star Trek.
Nobody really actually cares about it. That's the thing. That's why it's
I
not
think
ever
that's-
getting made.
No one cares.
And on top of the fact that Michelle Yeoh is backed up on like projects that she has to get done, like she's got 2 sequels to the Rich Asians franchise, plus like she's already in things that are coming out now. Like I just recently saw her in a
I think
trailer
that
for something.
they're too deep now with the Michelle Yeoh announcement that they can no longer back down and say like, actually we're gonna do the Section 31 show, but it's no longer Michelle Yeoh. Because like they could still move forward with it, and like, because I would love to see like Rhea Seehorn or something, right?
It
like
very well may happen in 2023 or 4 or say something. It's not going to be anytime soon. We know that. And it doesn't really matter because there's already 5. There's going to be 5 shows.
Yeah, there's like a million shows
5
coming out.
shows.
Going back to like what Marvel are doing and what you would enjoy, I think that kind of format would work very well for that Khan show that they kind of talked about at some point.
That too.
Like,
That's another one that
do a limited
yeah.
run, like 10 episode, just like, and don't even call it season 1. It's just like it's a limited run, 10 episodes. Explore the story of Khan or whatever it is, and you can do that for plenty of things. You can do like Captain April. You know what I mean?
Meyer's script is only, what is it, like I think it's 3 episodes or something long, and that's one of the reasons why they didn't make it. It's too short, or it's not. It's not even a miniseries.
It's too short. Sherlock is 3 episodes. Just do like 3. Pump out 3 big episodes.
They're thinking in terms of like episodes and longevity and like how long it'll be on the air and type thing, and if there's possibility for another season. Disney can afford to do the WandaVision.
Hold on, this hug is for. I'm giving a hug to Jesse Gender. Can you put me full screen for a second?
Oh my goodness!
Sorry.
How do I even do that?
Just like. Never mind.
I don't even know how to do that.
Sorry, PJ.
There you go.
Okay.
There you
Here,
go.
this is a hug for Jesse Gender. There you go. All right.
He's just interrupting here. God damn it.
Go on, PJ. I'm sorry.
They could. I think they could make it in like 2 movies. Like like back in the 90s. Remember they used to have those TV movies that were 2-hour, 2-night events. So it was basically a 4-hour movie. Those were always fun. But I don't know. Nicholas Meyer apparently had a really good idea for SETI Alpha 5, and they could still do it. They actually commissioned him to write it. So
I have this whole fan theory where like Khan wasn't on SETI Alpha 5 the whole time. Like to me, the Romulans or the Klingons came to pick him up. They took him somewhere because they wanted to use him to like on a mission, but he outsmarted them. So eventually, their radical solution was just to send him back, and that's how he got the necklace with the Starfleet insignia or whatever. Like that's my whole thing. I would love that. I would love that so much. You don't even need to take all of the. You don't even need to take all the Chippendales with them, right? Just take him, right? You don't.
The Chippendales.
I always thought of them as like an 80s rock band.
Yes, it's true. Oh my gosh. It could just be called Khan. That's like a great name for an 80s rock band too. It's with 3 or 4 A's.
Yeah, and also, okay, so Jesse Genders now, like, seriously do a Romulan War miniseries with the Enterprise crew, a Lost Era miniseries between the original series and Next Generation, a miniseries with Enterprise C, okay, so the Lost Era miniseries is something that Larry Nemeczek is fighting for. He wants that Enterprise B era so much. The Romulan War is Jess's love of Enterprise.
I'm more interested in that than Section 31.
Do you remember the idea that was floated years, like 3 or 4 years ago, about a possible Star Trek anthology series? And some people were thinking maybe episodic, but that would be too expensive. I think season wise, you could do a season that explores like the gaps. If they're willing to keep going back into the lore, right? Why not fill in the gaps that we're most interested in seeing? Like what happened to is it Harriman for the Enterprise B? Yeah, what happened to him? Was he always cowardly?
Ferris Bueller's friend.
He's like Cameron. He has the same story arc as Cameron does in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's funny.
What would be interesting and also very relevant would be like a mini-series political drama, or like a political based thing where basically you show the birth of the Federation and Archer creating that, and all of like the political stances that all of the species that are involved like take. And that would be like that. You could do some serious commentary on how the world is going now with that.
Whatever you
after
do with...
finally. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh, after finally finishing Enterprise, what I want is for them to vault the last episode. These are the voyages, like completely vault it and take it offline, and then let them have a 5th season that continues from where, like, you know, like years late, like flash forward to years
Trip
later.
Doesn't die.
And well, I don't care. Well, I do want Trip not to die, but I don't care if Trip dies again. They've killed Trip. I realize they killed Trip like 17 times on Enterprise. Anyways, so they should vault These Are the Voyages. So everyone download These Are the Voyages now, because I think they're gonna listen to me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, they
Kurtzman's here. He's watching.
Kurtzman's gonna come on your show and tell you what he does. But but anyways, I do think Enterprise. What you were saying is probably a better idea. What Jesse was saying, but I do think Enterprise crew totally should come back. I hope it's not like too boring political intrigue like the prequels of Star Wars.
I wouldn't care if it was Scott Bakula, and you need to utilize the actors while they're still kicking. You know what I'm saying? Like, come back as soon as possible.
And they're interested. A lot of the actors are super interested too. It's just do it. Just make it show.
I think the political aspect to the Star Wars prequel wasn't interesting because it wasn't well handled. It was just a bunch of people in a bunch of floating chairs. You know what I mean? Debating about what trade commerce or whatever it is. Like who gives a shit? But
it's actually good stuff.
But I think that if you get into if you get into things like I don't know, we talk about the Federation and the Romulan Star Empire, and how they both treat diversity, whereas and how they both treat differences in species. Whereas the Romulans try to homogenize everything. They accept diversity, but they try to homogenize everything. Whereas the Federation creates a mosaic of differences, and we put all our pieces together. And use that that kind of political commentary and political plot. I think would work very well. And you could have new characters. You don't just have you can have Archer, but with a whole bunch of other more, I suppose, representatives of each country. Like you could have an Andorian, and you can have a Tellarite. You can have a Vulcan.
Do the West Wing, but Star Trek, with the Federation president and his staff dealing with crises.
I think that would be great. And it's the birth
just
of
make
the
it
Federation.
completely character focused and have the action be ancillary, kind of
So it doesn't even need to cost too much because you just film everything in offices, right?
You guys want to hear
throw in a
literally
CG pad.
that's what you do.
You guys want to hear some headcanon that you guys just inspired right now?
Oh, go. Oh,
if Captain... Also, actually, this is more inspired by the Michelle Yeoh interview on the Star Trek official podcast. But if Captain Georgiou had lived and not died, I believe she would have gone on to be the president of the Federation. So I would love to see a what if series where she's the president of the Federation.
Oh no. I agree, and it would have been amazing. They had Michelle Yeoh. They made her Mira Georgiou. No, fuck that. They should have made her president of the Federation. That I agree. I don't want a what if show. I don't even want the what if show for Marvel. I'm I there's enough timelines and temporal incursions and bullshits going on that we don't need to. Anyway, I wanted to get to a point because Lower Decks is happening in 2380. All right, Prodigy season 1 is happening in 2383 from what I remember now. Picard is 2399. Maybe season 2 will pick up in 2400 perhaps. Discovery can technically go all over the place if it wants to. We're talking about the Section 31 show that can also go wherever it wants. Strange New Worlds is the oddball. It's you can stay. But they could be working towards some sort of crossover temporal event where all of our captains or all of our main characters kind of join together against, I don't know, bloody Synthulu, Space Squid, or whatever it is. If there is, or a new villain that they could invent. So I don't know if I want that. It would have to be very cleverly done. If they do that, I don't want it to be done like Picard handled its big villain, or Discovery has a tendency of handling its big villains. I don't want something like that. I want something more clever. I'm not against it though.
There's a coffee in that nebula. Jesse was saying
I just can't get those abnormally long legs out of my head.
What do we think about crossing over live action and animated though? Do you guys think we could have
that only works in the context of a joke. It wouldn't work as an actual serious project.
I think
you couldn't have a live action beam onto Lower Decks, onto the ship, onto the Cerritos.
I think that the Cerritos exists in live action form in the live action Star Treks. I think that the Lower Decks cartoon is a kind of it's if this makes any sense, the way it's visually shown to us is not necessarily what's going on. I just see it as a live action show already. So even though I know it's absurd that Boimler gets his leg sliced into and it just flaps like that, I imagine there's a live action version of that's more realistic that actually happens. It's
neither live action nor animated. It's just in universe. That's how it is.
Right. Yeah.
But for the audience, they can. Visually...
So I think for example, if you wanted to have something that's really thrown around a lot, and I would like to see Boimler and Mariner in Star Trek Picard, because it's a real possibility that they could appear. I would like it to be Jack Quaid and Tawny Newsome playing them in live action.
And they totally could.
They could.
Totally could.
They could
look
pull it off.
Enough like their characters.
Yeah.
Oh, they drew them so that they look like those characters.
Yeah. In fact, I think they're all cosplaying, by the way, at the Chicago Mission Chicago
That,
event.
that I can't wait to see that.
They are cosplaying as their characters, but in and they're getting uniforms made and everything, like the full deal. So they'll be there in their lower decks outfits, but looking live action, obviously, because they are.
If I was Terry
forgot about
Metalis
that.
and I saw the success and the response to Lower Decks, the first thing I would want to do is find a way just to put one of the characters, just one, and even if it's the cat doctor,
Vacation Doctor. Yes.
vacation doctor.
In Star
Yeah,
Trek.
you know what? You're right. Actually, Terry Metalis should like if they bring him back Riker or something like. He should say, "Oh, I got an old buddy that," and you like you have Jack Quaid and he's calling up Boimler, or maybe like Boimler's not, like you'd have to have someone that's older, someone that's aged. Jack Quaid still looks like the same age
No,
as Boimler. I
Jack
guess.
Quaid could pull it. Jack Quaid could totally pull off a Boimler because
Like an
it's
older
it's
Boimler.
it's 23.
It's
so
about
20
20
years
years
later.
They look their cartoon
Boimler was
selves look like ensigns. They're younger cadet types, and so
Exactly.
Okay.
it would make sense.
Give him more of a
then-
beard and yeah.
or whatever.
Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid could totally pull off people in their 40s in the Star Trek world. I could totally buy that.
I agree.
Even Don Lewis, who plays
Oh, it could be Captain Freeman 100%. Yeah.
yeah,
The
That would be
Cerritos.
awesome.
she would be.
That
she
would be really
she would be
cool.
kind of age appropriate.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be really cool.
Did you see
To see Captain Freeman in
Admiral
in Picard
Freeman at
season
this
2.
point, obviously.
Admiral Freeman, that's right.
they even gave the Cerritos more shading and more detail, by the way, based on like the screen Jurg was showing it on his Twitter account that like the new season Cerritos in the trailer has like more detail, clarity, sharper edges. Like it's starting to look more like a live action ish
So
look.
it
to
came
me.
out looking all
okay,
Sovereign class, did it?
I'm gonna say this. Like you guys know that every single video that I put out, every single review that I put out for Lower Decks, I had to take the time to say that it looks beautiful, and I think it's one of the like. But now it has completely fucked up my my view of every single animated show that I watch. Like every animated show that I watch now after Lower Decks, I'm like, oh my god,
That's amazing.
it's
That's what's
like-
gonna
and
happen with Prodigy too. Watch.
like I watch Solar Opposites and I know that it's not at all the same style and I respect it for what it is, but I'm like they haven't put out one of those cinematic episodes of Lower Decks, that quality of animation. It's like Lower Decks is just beautiful. And I'm watching Invincible now. Braxton, I'm watching Invincible. No, he knows.
I saw the first episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's really
it's-
it's so fucked up. It's interesting.
It's like it's not even comparable. Like these are like
And
on completely different playing fields.
I have
Lower
a
Decks is
weird-
beautiful. It's insane.
I have a
Two
weird,
completely different styles of animation, though. I mean.
That's
Yeah,
very
true.
true.
I have a weird crush on the daddy Superman, the daddy super guy.
J.K. Simmons.
Oh god, sometimes I want to say things to you and then I don't. I should have said it. I knew you were gonna say that. I
But
knew
he's-
it. I don't know why. He's got that mustache,
Yeah,
right?
And
That's it.
And
And
when
the voice.
Invincible grows up a little, he might be hot too. But he's still a kid. Too much of a kid.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you guys think that we'll get at least maybe a bit of a crossover thing between Prodigy and Lower Decks, the two animated shows?
You know,
Wait,
it would
what?
be really cool to see a CG character from Lower Decks pop up.
Oh yeah, no,
You would have to extrapolate where they would be 3 years from, or 2 years at that point.
So you would have the character in the style of Prodigy, not in the style of Lower Decks, if you were to put it in Prodigy.
I think they would have to adapt.
I would.
for-
I agree.
for the-
Whenever you're on a show, you should look like that show. So, like
Okay.
for example, actually, ooh,
If Janeway was on
I didn't think about
Lower
this
Decks, she would
before,
look
but-
like, she
Yeah.
wouldn't look like Prodigy Janeway. She wouldn't look
I
all
would-
like disproportionate and whatnot.
yeah, I would say that. That would be cool. Like, Star Trek no longer can be a show that has a visual continuity that's cohesive, right? Like they've already broken that. It's been broken, And so move on, or whatever. You can't go back and change like special effects, and the Klingons are never going to go.
Well, Lower
they're
Decks
never
has
gonna-
been Lower Decks
you
has been
just
the most
wait.
faithful to.
No, but what I'm
if
saying
the
is,
live action shows took a
I'm
cue from
saying
Lower
is-
Decks and said we should
I'm
make,
saying-
which I think Strange New Worlds. is
sorry,
probably
I'm not
gonna
trying to. I'm not trying to say anything about faith. I'm saying we've all moved on because of Discovery. We've all moved on for the most part from this
be.
like
I don't
idea.
know about all of us.
All right. Many of us. Sorry, you're right. Many of us have moved on, such as myself. I used to be like
I don't know about those Klingons.
I used to be the most hardcore hater of the look of Discovery. It's documented. You can go back and watch the Starfleet
Yeah,
Boy.
if you go watch
Have
our
this-
first
yeah,
conversations, you're like,
conversations,
"Ugh!"
Yeah, it's the worst. Like
And now you're like 10,
Yeah,
10, yo.
I know, it's true.
Back then, you were Star Hate Boy.
Star hate boy, whatever.
Oh.
But I've accepted it, and so it's like once that happened, they had the hardest job to do because they broke that continuity or that visual continuity and that adherence to it and all that, fascinating, all that stuff. So what I was going to tie this into is that I agree with PJ. When you're on a show, no matter what, you should look like that show. So if, like, for example, if Jean-Luc were transported back in time to Discovery, for some reason, he would look like the Discovery, it would all just fit in beautifully to whatever
Wait,
show you're
you
doing.
lost me at that.
Like he
Yeah.
would like Worf. Okay, better example. If Worf were transported back to Discovery, he should look like the Klingons in
Oh
Discovery.
God, no,
Yeah,
No,
because we're never gonna
that's-
see those Klingons
that's
again.
bullshit.
They're gonna resolve
Yes.
that at some point.
You know what?
Strange New Worlds
We're
may
never-
do something there with.
If they had the
freaking that.
balls, if they had like really, if they really wanted to go bold into this, they would embrace the Klingon thing. And you know what you do? You make a show about Klingons, but you
Okay.
show them all. You have like a
You do Michael
this is
Dorn's show.
The diverse cast is each Klingon from each era, including an animated Klingon from Lower Decks.
All right, here's a better way of looking at it. If the, which has already happened, the Enterprise, the NCC 1701, when it goes into TOS, it looks like it does in TOS. Then when you throw it back into Discovery, it looks like it looks in Discovery, but it's the same ship. It's the same. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what they look like to me anymore, as long as the show matches. It's fine with me.
Well,
Like
Strange New Worlds may be trying to course correct a bit and going away from the Discovery design and leaning more toward what would an actual retrofit
Perhaps.
TOS world look like. As
That'll
opposed to,
definitely
like,
be
let's
new.
just change everything.
Yeah, we'll see. That might be a new. They might be able to do the showrunners or someone like Ted Sullivan or someone way back when Discovery season 1 came out and there was all this outrage about the look and feel and everything. Someone said, "Don't worry, we're going to work towards making it all line up perfectly towards the end." Do you remember that? Like, do you guys remember? It's like
Yeah, but that
It
didn't
was
quite
all
work out,
lies.
did it? Because they went straight to the
Yeah, they
32nd
changed-
century.
Yeah, it's true. They changed
Because they couldn't handle the complaints and
They couldn't
They couldn't
constant
handle the heat.
nitpicking of like, this is not right, that doesn't look right, which is understandable because they messed up. They did with the Klingons. Come on, we can all say it now. We don't have to pretend anymore. Like, oh, they were
I
were
never
bald
pretended.
because of war. And oh yeah, half of Laurel's head is gone all of a sudden in season 2, and she looks
Yeah.
completely different. That's okay. I don't care if they soft reboot things to course correct over a period of time.
Well, they somewhat
as long as
did
they
that
do it
with
subtly.
Worf.
You know what I mean?
Worf had
Yeah.
a ridge change in season 2.
Well, and as PJ
His makeup in
pointing
the
out-
early seasons was gross. It didn't
Yeah.
look good
Disgusting.
at all. Yeah.
Well,
And like there was like they made him really dark in certain places, and it was
It
There's
just looked
definitely-
like putty. It didn't look like an actual skull fragment like the
I will just say
There you go.
There's so many ways they can explain it because like the Klingons are probably the most evolved in terms of the look and feel of all the Star Trek aliens so far. Like the Romulans got a few ridges added and stuff like that, but nothing as dramatic as the Klingons.
It's
Like,
the Vulcans are like
it's like the
unchangeable.
Klingons are the plaything of the designers. They're just like, what can we do to make a Klingon totally different from how they looked in the last show, this show, like, so if you look at that, like, and PJ points out, and I always love this example, is that the softer Star Trek 6 Klingon, right? That's your thing that you point out always, the Star Trek 6 Klingons,
in my
they're
head-
kind of like a bridge, in your headcanon, they're a bridge from TOS to to the TOS film era, and they kind of explain like how you're going from there to like other things, and it also explains that there's different types of Klingons, and that they all there's all kinds of things, and of course TNG goes a little further with that. So yeah, I do think like the easiest way to fix it is to pop what you just said a little earlier, is to pop all the different Klingons into one scene or something,
Put
and
them
just
all
show
in a
that
room.
in a room and show that they're
right?
yeah, and that's it. There's all these Klingons. So yeah, Picard could do that, Discovery could do that, Strange New Worlds could do that, any show could do that. It would fix that issue.
People are usually of two minds about the Klingon thing, and there's everybody in between, obviously, but it's usually the people who don't care about the redesigns, like just accept every different redesign and just go with that from then on, and they all retroactively have to say they all look like whatever the new thing is, right? Or you could be like, like for example, what I do with TOS Klingons, I retroactively imagine them as Star Trek 6 Klingons, which Nicholas Meyer made them really subtle in terms of makeup design, because he wanted the actors to kind of like their performance to come through a little clearer, like Christopher Plummer. If he had like a little bit heavier Klingon makeup on, it probably wouldn't have worked as well, say. But there is a mix in Star Trek 6 of smoother headed Klingons, and you can eliminate the problem of basically putting actors in brown face, which back then that wasn't the intention.
Well, in TNG they did hire a lot of black actors, didn't they?
Yeah, that's
what
the
are you
thing.
doing
like,
with your wooden hand?
It's just a matter of like just they didn't have the time or budget or foresight to make them look like the Klingons we know and love now. What, you're just creeping me out, man. What is that?
You got a wooden hand.
It's my wooden hand. I just want to say that I'm with Blue.
Creepy.
I'm so over the Klingons in general. Let's get Stranger in here.
I was gonna say that is probably a sentiment that a lot of the fandom shares at this point. I know that in Discovery Season 1 they wanted to bring back the Klingons because they're iconic and what have you, but I think a lot of people, even putting the look aside, they're just over the Klingons. Let's move on to something else. And yeah, there's if they're going in new directions with these shows, like Strange New Worlds should give us species that we've never seen before, new worlds that we've never seen before, and it would be interesting if Picard could do the same. You know what I mean? I don't think Picard will go that far. I think Picard was gonna try and re-explore ideas or concepts that were kind of teased in the Next Generation.
Yeah, and
that's where I feel the show going.
Why do the stakes have to be world ending all the time? If they
ever
do a crossover, what are the stakes going to be?
That's right.
You know what I mean? They've already gone to so many extremes
for the crossover event, right? Keep your Thanos for your end game.
You used to keep the big stakes for the series finales or season finales or the films. Like you would keep some of these things for the films, because it is true. How many times can you save the universe? They even make jokes about it now, like in universe, like, oh, here I go saving the universe again, like it feels like that's kind of like the easy way out. Like I feel like shows like The Expanse kind of teach us. It took 3 seasons before you had the ring freaking turn into this portal to another.
Spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
The Expanse takes a lot of time, and even so, the Expanse, without getting into details too much, like the Expanse takes a long time to set up a big thing, and then in the season that we just got, it doesn't even talk about the big thing, or it's like, oh yeah, by the way, that happened. Things are happening, but we're gonna focus on our characters with their specific events and little stories going on here. I think that's so great, and that's what Star Trek triumphed at doing once upon a time. So
this went from like Star Trek news to like, let's make Star Trek better.
I'm sure they will get there. They will make Star Trek. I have questions.
I have
questions for you guys.
To be fair, don't you guys all agree that Star Trek? Wait, don't you guys all agree from when Discovery premiered to now, Star Trek's gotten a lot better? Like the newer iteration of Star Trek. Do we all agree, or it hasn't gotten worse, right? Yeah. Overall, PJ?
It's been up and down, but I mean it's gradually getting better and better. They're very slowly learning.
So it's improving.
What they shouldn't be doing, and it's not like it's not one of these things. I know fans are like always like, it almost seems like we're gatekeeping because we're saying this is not right, that's not right, this is not what I want, this is not what I want, and they're constantly telling Paramount Plus now, I guess, or Viacom CBS. We want a continuation of TNG. We want like Worf coming back. We want this and that, and we're gradually getting things now. We're getting Q coming back. We're getting Guinan. We're getting Janeway. I mean, it's only a matter of time before they. I don't want to say exploit, but take advantage of the 90s
Enterprise
Trek
cast
characters.
being young
DS9
as well.
and Voyager even. Like, just all those guys. Utilize these people while they're still around. And, like I said, go and make a miniseries with Scott. Pay Scott Bakula a truckload of money. And
Just give
bring
it
them
to
back
him.
and do a Romulan War thing where he doesn't have to be the main character. But, you know.
Just
Scott
give it to him.
Bakula is still like ripped. He's
No, he's
still
really
real
good.
good. Yeah, he could do those action scenes.
Jesse earlier was saying that there's Trip Tucker novels that are like where he survived. He wasn't actually dead and he joined Section 31.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, I would make an exception to not seeing Section 31 for Trip Tucker. I would be happy to see Trip.
You know what? Trip is one of my favorite characters, but I of all of the things that Star Trek does, there are two things that I don't want it to do more time travel, and I don't want it to bring characters back from the dead. If you're gonna kill a character, then kill it. Like kill them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Stop with the. We're not the Arrowverse. We don't have Lazarus pits where we can throw everybody in and bring them back. Or we've already got one. Gollum.
Anyways, Trip
Walking around.
dies
We
in
don't need a million.
Trip dies in a holographic simulation. It is possible that his true death was kept secret for whatever reason. Just like the Discovery disappearing into the future was kept secret, and so that's how Starfleet
That's very true. Actually,
So,
it could be a
yeah.
narrative written for that holoprogram.
Yeah, it could have been that his history or the official record records him as having died, but he never actually died that way. Maybe he had a
But
different.
I don't like that. I don't
Still,
like that. Leave it.
I'm just saying it could be that way.
He died.
They should vault that episode anyways.
He died.
As much as I love it. So, do you know what happened? Can I just share my Enterprise testimonial real quick? Can I take up your
Well,
showtime
I'm
here real quick?
personally mad, and I think Braxton can back me up on this
That
because
I
you
haven't
started
finished
watching
Voyager.
You started watching
That's
Voyager,
true.
and you interrupted to watch your ass shit bullshit show Enterprise before finishing Voyager.
It's true. It's true. I'm going back
And now
to
you still
Voyager.
haven't finished it.
It's true. All right, fine. All I have to say is that I saw the ending of Enterprise before I had ever seen the completed show, and I was like, "This is great! Oh my gosh! Like, look, it's the the TNG cast." I had no idea. I had no idea how disrespectful the episode was because I hadn't watched the show in its entirety. So I was like, "Whatever."
I don't think.
And when people would complain, about it, I'd be like, "Oh, whatever! It's awesome! Didn't you see that ending with all the ships?" Oh, sorry, Braxton. I'll get back on Voyager. And people would just look at me with disdain, and now I understand why. So I get it. It is disrespectful, even though you have the great
not.
Marina
I
Sirtis
don't
and Jonathan
think it is.
Frakes. It's disrespectful.
I don't think it is. I think it adds more respect. I think people took it the wrong way. I think it solidifies the importance of Archer and his crew.
Yeah,
history.
Riker literally says "computer freeze program" in front of Archer, and never talks to Archer as the chef. He talks to every single crew member. He never talks to Archer. Why? Also, why is he focused on Trip?
All right.
He should be focused on T'Pol.
All right.
I'm just saying. It's
This ain't no
disrespect-
debate. Yo,
It's-
let's.
All right,
Do you guys think Discovery Season 4 is going to be the final season?
I hope not. There's a lot of rumors I keep seeing that it will be, but no, I hope it's not.
No, I think every season's going to be the last season. So I can't. I'm not saying much here, but I think that it's going to go 5 now. I think if they're this far into it, 5 seems like a good. 4. I don't know. 4. It's like 3 or 5. So for some reason, 4 seasons of a TV show doesn't feel right. It has to be 3 or 5, or like more than that.
Discovery
I
seems like the
For
kind
it
of
to be able,
show
yeah.
based on the hype from when it was first being launched and everything like, and based on the people that were involved, I had hoped for, or I'd gotten the impression that it would be a show that would tell like a really great story. So I think it needs one more season. Well, maybe next season will be amazing, but I feel like we finally got our breakthrough season this season. We need another season of just like baseline, and then you can end
I
the
think se-
story.
I think season 3 is the height of Discovery.
Yeah,
Like
right
what
now,
the
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I would
I'm
agree.
not saying it's something that I enjoy particularly. I don't. I think it wasn't that bad, but I
I
think
loved
that's
You
season
didn't
three. It
you
was
didn't
like
watch the teaser for season 4, did you?
I did, and I think it's
Okay.
very, very. It's just boring.
It literally did nothing for me. I'm like, oh, there they are. But I mean, it doesn't. That's the thing. It feels like just a continuation of like extra episodes in season 3. It doesn't feel like anything's different. There's a
yeah.
gravitational anomaly that they have to deal with that I don't know how big
But
that's going
maybe
to
they
be in
could
the
play that
story, but
well if they play it
maybe.
as a continuation of season 3, in the sense that it's kind of like episodic missions, and they're discovering this new universe now because it's the future. That's fine. I can enjoy that. I just feel like at this point, and I'm not on the the hate side of things saying Discovery should end. I'm just saying that Discovery's primary mission was to bring back Star Trek to all of us, and it has, because now we have all of these shows, and also it kind of feels like Michelle Yeoh's no longer part of Discovery. Doug Jones is popping in and out doing these features. You know what I mean? They never were able to really get Tig Notaro as like a main. So I feel like, plus like all of the main cast that they had in like that season 1, with what is it, Mary Chifo and what was his name, Ash Tyler, Shazad
I think
Latif,
it's
like they're
great.
they're all gone.
I think it's
it's
great.
it's like
They've pared away these like kind of distractions, I think, and now we're gonna focus on and so they have to. It's kind of like their sink or swim season in a way, because n- you kind of have to have it all rides on Michael now. It's like it all rides on Sonequa. I think she can carry
like it
it,
hasn't
and
before.
no, but in a different way. Like she's gonna be the captain of the Discovery. Like she's in charge. She's the center seat. She's the tone setter. And we still have Culber, who's an amazing character. We have Stamets, who's an amazing. PJ and I are doing the. By the way, can I plug the watch along?
Yeah, yeah.
No, you can't.
AJ and I
Yeah.
are doing a watch along of season one, and we're noticing little nuggets here and there that
There,
like
there
that
are
are
better things about season 1 that
yeah, like
that they fail in season 2 and 3. Like for example, season 2 and 3, especially season 3, has like way too much like two characters sit in a room, talk for 2 seconds, they're both bawling or hugging, or like it's just emotions and tears, and it's like, I get it, you need it because people are going through stuff, but like these are Starfleet officers. I don't need to see them crying all the time. I really don't. And
Discovery's a show
what
for
you need in
teenagers,
season
isn't
2 is
it?
to cut the crying in half at least. I don't
Cut the crying in half.
have just I just want to see the officers
Cry for half a
just do
scene.
their goddamn jobs and just like say,
What
come
about the
on,
bridge claps? You don't
yes,
like the
we
bridge
definitely
claps?
need more slow bridge claps. Yeah, we just
but yeah, I think this season four will give us a chance to hopefully focus on Stamets, Culber, Tilly, Burnham, Reese, Witherspoon, and no, just,
Will okay. So you guys think we'll get at least get 5 seasons of Discovery? What about Picard? Are we
oh
still gonna get
whoa,
those
Detmer.
3 seasons of Picard?
I think
Or
Picard can do 3 and that's it.
Well, I think that was the original plan. I
that
was
was the
hopeful for
original
more.
kind
Yeah,
of plan, I
I was
think.
hopeful for more. I have a fear that season two could be the last because COVID set it off for so long, but I hope it goes to season three. I really do. And based on the hype, though, I think they could pull together a season three
They
because
don't even need Picard. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's not even main. They don't even need the guy.
He's a supporting character in his own
he
show.
could
Yeah,
be. I think that's fine.
Like Soji's the character. Soji's the main
Yeah,
in the
Soji's the
show.
main, and we didn't
Now
even
now that
see.
you've done the
It's interesting that
TNG, what is it, epilogue, we could call it. Like now that you've dealt with like Data and all of that stuff, you can just move on to like Soji's story.
Well, they're obviously, it's like what you said earlier, they're revisiting themes. So, like, Q is a big part of it. I feel like these are deconstructions of like major things in Star Trek: The Next Generation. So they deconstructed the advanced aeromotic syndrome slash future slash all these things. Next, they're going to deconstruct Q, and then I don't know what season 3 would
Can I just say
deconstruct.
something about deconstructing? Sometimes they do that with meals.
Look at those
Like
legs.
they'll take
Look
a
at
famous
those.
dish and they'll deconstruct it. And sometimes when they deconstruct something, it really sucks and it's not like the original thing.
It's true. That is true. But for me, it
Yeah.
worked. I liked what they deconstructed in season
Look at-
1.
That looks like a weird Photoshop, like somebody's playing a joke.
You think they
Why are you
added some
zooming in
extra
on her?
leg around here? Like
You know-
this is too much, like above the knee. You should just
Janeway has
cut-
long legs, though. I think.
No, it's just torso versus leg. It's just. I guess that's the design of the show. I guess.
Well,
Everybody
they
has
all kind of
abnormally
look
long
like
legs.
they all kind of look like that. Yeah.
They're all a bit,
Wait a minute. got that.
exaggerated proportions and whatnot. Skinny is like extremely skinny. Like
I'm
toothpick
sorry,
legs
everyone
and
that's
arms.
watching. We're going from like one thing to another.
We're all
thing.
over the place. By
We're all
now,
over
if
the
you haven't
place.
seen all the
What am I doing?
whoa, what is?
Oh no!
We're about
Okay.
to see some crazy stuff here. I don't know. There's like some weird stuff going
That's
on.
that's my side business. That's the OnlyFans. That's the side hustle.
Yay.
They all look long. They all look, you know what I mean? Like the design on the robot here, you know what I mean? He's all torso here, but then he's all legs. So yeah, it's just kind of how they are. It's fine for me how they did Janeway. I think it's okay. I'm very excited to see how the show's gonna go. This is supposed to come out before Lower Decks, so this is supposed to come out soon, from what I understand. Because Lower Decks is coming out 12th of August, right?
I don't remember if they launched the date.
They don't.
They didn't
don't.
give us it.
My guess is that because Lower Decks is in August, we would get Discovery in the fall and then Prodigy in the winter, or maybe like November to like put the sales out there for the toys, because apparently they want to use Prodigy as a launching tool for merchandise for children. Which who
Makes
knows?
sense.
I'm so mad. We were
Our
supposed
kids
to
gonna
get
watch it. That's what I'm
Discovery-
interested in. Is this gonna be a hit for Nickelodeon? Will this have like SpongeBob numbers and shit? Like
I'm so mad.
How will it do?
McFarlane was going to do the Discovery toys, if I remember. There was like talk about it for a while, and that never happened, as far as I know. Right? Wasn't there a thing with McFarlane toys doing Discovery?
I have no interest in merchandise from the current iteration of
okay.
Trek. Thank you. That's why they don't sell.
Ooh.
No, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? If the stuff was like a cool update of the older TOS stuff, that would be something I would be like, oh, I want that. But where it's like, I don't know where this thing is going. That's the way
Yeah.
I feel about this kind of franchise. I
If
don't want to
they,
commit to purchasing things that may be irrelevant 10 years from now, like Kelvin stuff.
If they had done, if they had taken the original series Enterprise and instead of remaking it, like visually how they did, they had just updated it to make it look really flash like today, but
Yeah.
it was still the same ship, you would have maybe gone out and bought a model of that.
And you know what's funny about like TOS, the 60s vibe, you know, DS9 with the Trouble with Tribbles, they kind of like poke fun at like this is the design of the time. So like me and Starfleet Boy talked about this, where you could have people hundreds of years in the future take up an ancient kind of like fad,
Yeah.
and a certain period of time in Starfleet, it has a kind of 60s vibe, and you could really bring that into the modern age, and that could be essentially a part of the charm of the show. And I hope, like, you know, Strange New Worlds actually does that, like, you know, a space station that looks like the one in TOS as opposed to like the one in Discovery that gets destroyed by the Klingons, which doesn't look anything like even like 10 years before Kirk. It doesn't seem like to match up in any way.
Oh, they could use that. You know how like Starfleet was decimated like 60% or whatever? They could use that to explain why those
Exactly,
designs go
perfect.
away. Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. And you know what? They're going to make changes to the uniforms and the sets to, you know, make it look. It's not going to look exactly. It's not going to be some like
What do you
100%
guys think of
faithful
this?
recreation. But I think it's going to be an improvement.
Well, yeah, hi Santo. Talking about Janeway, she can still be the real Janeway. She could control the hologram from the Alpha Quadrant. They sent the Doctor to the Alpha Quadrant from the Delta Quadrant, so they can
That
send
could
her
be
to
the
the Delta
twist.
Quadrant.
But that
could be
would
the
make
twist.
sense
Yeah,
though,
that's great.
because she would have to be activated on command, and she would have to be ready on the other side to kind of.
Well, she could still
Coalesce,
pop
I
in
guess.
she could pop in for real sometimes, and she could also be seeing the logs from the hologram and
Because
then influencing it or whatever. It doesn't
Or
have to be like a direct influence.
context for those that are unaware, if anyone is, Janeway in Prodigy is at the moment not said to be Captain or Admiral. It's not a real Janeway. It's an AI computer program of Janeway. It's a holographic Janeway.
It's also the
That's what-
visual representation of Janeway from the early seasons of Voyager, so it's not even accurate to what she
And
looks
there's
like
there's
in that
no
time.
pips, and there's no pips. Yeah, and it's not accurate to what she looks like in 2383, because she's already like Admiral and looking a bit older. So yeah. What are you doing with all your toys? You're such a child.
I just love my toys. They
You're
look
such
so
an
good.
You're such an influencer.
They look so good on this camera too. Look at this angle.
What else is there to talk about in new shows? That's it, right? Those are the ones.
Well, we covered all the big news, but we still haven't talked about this. So it is confirmed that it's that Star Trek Legends video game, right? That Worf is in.
Oh, who cares about that?
I know. I was so disappointed.
No, Michael.
I really wanted him
Michael.
to be
Michael
involved.
Dorn. Yeah, Michael Dorn's voicing.
That's like the latest news.
They will eventually perfect, and I think they can do it now. Taking old legacy actors like Armin Shimmerman, if he came back and stuff like that, you're taking these old dudes and putting them through a process that's like not good for the skin. It really isn't. They tried over the years, but wearing that makeup is
Well, I
task.
believe Michael
lost
Dorn-
pigmentation. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Michael Dorn said he has permanent damage from.
Yeah, he
From
lost
the-
like
yeah.
specks of pigmentation.
Exactly,
He's
but
got,
what you
like,
can do now,
white dots.
you could do digital makeup and it could look good. You could really pull it off. I think you could just have like the actor on set.
I know you guys
with the
don't
dots.
watch The Orville, but there's a baby Mocklin, I think the species is, and that baby was digitally like
Yeah.
they did the makeup digitally because they can't apply physical makeup to like a newborn or an infant.
Thank God. Not anymore, but
so-
in the 60s and 70s, they didn't care.
I don't know, but no, they didn't have babies like alien
didn't have
babies in the
babies in the
60s.
60s.
They didn't have alien babies in their shows in the 60s. Come on.
And I think
I
if
bet
you
you I find you a show that did it.
if you did choose the digital route or a combination of prosthetics and digital, it would look different. Like Ferengis would look different, and Klingons would look slightly different in the fact that like a Ferengi could be more expressive. His ears could kind of move back, or his eyebrows could
Oh,
move
kind
up,
of like
or
how the
his-
Andorians.
or his
do that.
forehead could wrinkle when his eyebrows raise, or same thing with Worf. Like Klingons, people who play Klingons, especially in the TNG era, always have to act with their eyes. So really, in reality, when they should be raising their eyebrows in surprise or something, they're just really opening their eyes really wide and like their eyebrows stay, standard. There are cases in Star Trek where both Ferengis and Klingons, sometimes the actors move their eyebrows underneath the makeup, and you can slightly see the movement, but it doesn't look right because you're kind of squishing the foam rubber. So like there's a scene in Nemesis where Worf is at the wedding and he goes, Romulan ale should be illegal, and he puts his head down and you could see the foam rubber kind of like flex. So I think digital makeup is a good solution to that. Oh my god, what the hell?
That's some
That's
Babylon
Alien
5
Nation.
shit, right?
That's where the men give birth to the babies.
Oh, is it? That's not Babylon 5? What is
Yeah,
I
that?
thought,
that's
oh
Alien
wait,
Nation.
that is Babylon 5.
No,
yeah.
it's Alien Nation.
No, it is
It's-
Alien Nation. Shit.
It is Alien Nation.
It does look like the dude
Alright,
from Babylon
alright,
5 though.
let's take it away. All right.
Okay.
we saw it. It's gone. Okay, I want to finish this because I gotta finish this. It's been an hour.
It has been.
I
Nice.
don't do
Fun
do
stream.
Starfleet Boy After Darks for like a million hours like you do. But I want to finish on this. What if the whole Worf thing and the whole Michael Dorn thing was kind of a testing the waters thing, like they did with the Deadpool test footage back in the day? They leaked the Deadpool test footage trailer. And everyone responded positively to it, so they really got going on the project. What if this is kind of the same thing? They were kind of testing the waters to see how hype... Because the tweet was purposefully cryptic, in my opinion. What if it was like kind of like how would people respond to Michael Dorn or Worf coming back? How viable is it to have like him lead a project or anything like that? Do you guys think that could be the case?
Well, the ultimate dream is that they secretly have accepted his proposal for his series, which involves him in the Klingon Empire,
And
lots of aliens.
This
and
was a testing the waters thing for that
It,
fan
no,
response.
I think that the tweet was just saying he's returning as a video game character.
I think Michael
in
Dorn doesn't
Legends-
know how to do tweets, by the way.
No, like we speculated, the hashtag
Yeah.
ad was a clear indication that he was
Yeah, he was being
paid to put
sponsored,
the
yeah.
tweet out. So it was deliberate, and it was only like a day or two later that we figured out what it was, and they had the trailer ready and all that stuff for it. But it would be great if somehow he shows up in Picard season 2. But like, it's like you gotta manage those expectations. I don't think I don't think Michael Dorn is coming back in live action form unless they give him something juicy or give him his own project. And you know what the ultimate dream is that this 2023 film stars Michael Dorn, but that's a fool's dream because that's just too good. I think the next film, this one in 2023, if it ever happens, should be a logical continuation of the timeline, and we shouldn't keep going back and
I'm done with Klingons, but I'm not done with Michael Dorn.
unless
so I
it's
agree.
Archer. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm done with Klingons, but I'm not done with Michael Dorn. So I agree that it would be great. That I would love to see that Michael Dorn show that he proposed be a real thing, and it could be an animated show, or it could be like a
There you go.
I don't care.
There
like,
you go.
That's fine.
Animated,
Like,
a mature animated show
Animated
that's
show,
not
yeah.
a comedy
You know what?
and not
That
for
would be
kids.
great.
yeah, it would
That
be
would be
awesome, and
great.
it would certainly.
And if you
yeah.
were gonna do Klingon kind of drama with an animated show, like make it CG, but make it so that
Toddy's registering
where it's-
animated Klingon Empire.
No,
but where it's in the animated format, you could have like some serious like
Gore.
gore and bloodletting,
blood.
and,
Yeah, it's true.
disembowelment and stuff.
So major animation studios, Paramount does have Paramount Animation, and they've put out just garbage movies, right? They've put out 2 SpongeBob movies, a Monster Truck movie.
You talking about SpongeBob, friend?
Yeah, I know.
Have you seen
Those
those movies?
SpongeBob movies are awesome. What are you talking about?
Santi Santo gave a suggestion for the comics from the 90s. I'll check those out too.
Anyway, all of these movies that they're putting out, they look just give it up, stop it, stop all of these projects, cancel them.
Just
Put
give
out
up.
Star Trek movies. Viacom CBS, you got Paramount Animations, make Star Trek films. All right, give us some Pixar quality, like Star Trek films about Strange New Worlds. That would be great. I would love that.
What is
you could get the
Nickelodeon-
kids in and the adults.
What is Nickelodeon known for? They've had so many TV shows become movies because the kids friggin' love them and they watch them all the time. If Prodigy becomes that thing, Prodigy could be the first animated Star Trek
Could be.
movie.
I'm good for that. I'm hyped for that. Too many legs though in that movie. I'm pretty sure. Like
IMAX legs.
IMAX legs for PJ.
What if they show a Cardassian? The neck's gonna be like 2 feet high.
Last thing I wanted to just kind of say, I know you're doing closing thoughts. So yes, hype for that, but I would also really appreciate seeing Michael Dorn return to Star Trek Picard. If Star Trek Picard truly is a like the only way that the TNG cast will have to have one last hurrah together, I hope we get it. I don't care how it turns out. I just am pleased to see them all coming back. So I think they're the only ones kind of Michael Dorn and
Hey, brother.
Gates.
All right, I'm gonna end on this. I'm gonna end on this comment because Collins, this is amazing. I still want to see a Grand Nagus Roman Rolodex. One of those one of those mini series.
Have you heard my
one
Grand
of those,
Nagus Zek?
one of those 10-episode miniseries. Give us.
The tube. It's so wonderful to see you.
That's not bad.
I know.
Inconceivable!
Inconceivable. But anyways, you've gone on way too long. I'm going to
I
revoke
have,
your
I have.
Ferengi card, and I'm going to go over and take
That's
away
not
your
bad.
beetle snuff.
I almost feel
I
like
can't
I'm
do
doing
it
Ron
on-
Sheldon
Can,
right
can
now.
you do Rom?
Yeah, I can do round. Hold on. Brother, will you please hand me that spanner, brother?
It's a bit too deep.
Yeah, you know who does a really good Rom is Son of Dennis. Son of Dennis does a really good But I can't do impressions on camera.
Alright.
I have to stop. I have to cover myself. Isn't that
I
weird?
know you have to pretend to be like you have to,
I have to
build a
be-
facade.
I-
You
yeah,
have to
it's
put
like-
on a mask. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me. It's turned into nonsense.
It is.
Thank you all for leaving
We're just
comments.
excited you actually
and-
did a show and that we were
I
on
did
it.
a show on yeah, I did a live conversation. So
Yeah.
thank you everyone. Tell people to subscribe. We didn't get any super chats, but anyway, we'll do that next time.
Oh.
That's fine. Yes, live long and prosper. We love you all. Hype for Star Trek. I'm excited.